Where the Sonoran Desert meets the city lights, the vibrant culinary scene of Tucson pulses as a true cultural epicenter. Just a short drive south, a tiny town emerges from the mesquite and high desert. A place so easy to miss, it feels like a secret. Patagonia. I've come here to stand at the heart of the action, fueling the gritty gravel racers at the Spirit World 100.
There are pieces of me, including most of my soul, that were left at mile 52.
It's a chance to check out this wild ride before heading north back into the city, eager to uncover the deeper layers of Tucson's expansive food history and culture. The recipe for a great meal takes more than just cooking. It's about people, passion, history, and adventure, in the kitchen and out. I'm Chef Biju Thomas. I've been an athlete, author, and a lifelong lover of food. This is amazing. Just make really delicious food, simple, and it works. I've learned that the best meals can take you down the road less eaten. For those in the know, Patagonia is quickly carving out its own identity as a haven for gravel cycling. All that energy culminates every year into this 3-day gravel cycling event where hundreds of riders stream into town to experience the diverse landscape and challenging routes that Spirit World presents. Xander and Heidi Rentz-Alt are the race's founders, introducing this sleepy town to the cycling world.
Back to Patagonia.
Food is fuel in the outdoors. Xander and Heidi also run the Cyclist Menu, a guiding service where local and seasonal ingredients are the norm. Xander doubles as the guide and the chef, but on a busy weekend like this, they know who to call to feed all of these athletes.
How's my face look? Looks like a face? Looks the way you imagine my face? That's great, Frank. There's hot stoves everywhere. Hello, sir, welcome. We've had a couple different things throughout the day because we started at noon today when it was really warm out. So we did a nice chilled pasta salad, chilled rice. Now we're moving to the evening when it's gonna get dark here in like an hour. It gets cool really fast. So we're gonna switch to warm food. How you guys doing? What do you need? We're switching to chicken curry, so give me one of the third pans and I'll give you chicken curry whenever. After doing this for about 30 years, I can come up with menus of thousands of things last minute. Because I think you get into trouble if you write a really rigid, hard menu and you get somewhere and you can't find stuff, or if yesterday, in the middle of it, a medical evac helicopter hovered right above us, right here. Our tent flew off, all of the tables and chairs gone, and the tent had weights attached and flew across to that building. So, I have to be flexible on the menus and what we're gonna make based on what happens that day. So there's a bunch of folks that are all gonna start coming in the next hour. People, I was like, holy shit, you get to go to so many incredible, amazing places. I was like, yeah, and cook in amazing parking lots all over the world.
The party goes into the night at the Patagonia Lumber Company. Xander and I have plans in the morning. After a big weekend of racing and festivities, the last of the excitement has faded.
All right, it's happening. Ready? Let's do it.
With Xander as my guide, it was time to see what all of the fuss was about, riding into the heart of the Spirit World course itself. This wasn't the image of Southern Arizona that I had carried. The landscape is a rich tapestry of unexpected lushness, framed by a collection of towering, unique mountains. You got this huge tree here. What is happening? How is that possible in the middle of the desert?
I think it's one of the most unique pieces to riding, but also just the Spirit World course. We're in the heart of the Madrean Sky Island ecosystem.
What is Sky Island?
So they are what comprise our mountain ranges. They come from the bottom of the desert up out of nowhere, but from bottom to top, they offer different ecosystems for traveling birds and other species migrating.
Okay, because I'm not seeing the big cactuses that we saw on the drive down.
You step up above Tucson's 2,000-foot elevation, and you lose the saguaros. Gets a little more scraggly up here. Harshaw Creek is beautiful, but man, wait till you see the view at the top of the valley.
That sounds pretty damn incredible already, bud.
You ready for this?
Dude, I'm ready for this hill to be over. I'll tell you that right now.
This is one of the most beautiful spots in all of Arizona.
What?
Welcome to the San Rafael Valley.
This is amazing. This protected valley shelters migrating wildlife and has long served as an iconic backdrop for classic Western films. All right, you ready? Keep going?
Let's roll.
All right.
Xander, during our ride, you were telling me like how much, cycling and outdoor rec and hiking and getting out is so big all across Arizona. But you were just telling me the volume of people that are coming down from the rest of the state.
Yeah, it's even kind of amazing, even with Tucson being a city of 1 million people, how many people don't know about Patagonia. But yet, tourism is growing in a pretty big way.
Yeah.
They're realizing that the borderland communities are something that they really want to spend some time in, and Patagonia has incredible cycling.
To think that this exists, just 45 minutes, an hour north of here is Tucson, and I'm about to make that drive right back up to Tucson right now, so thanks for being close.
It's a bit of a hidden Mecca. Drive safe.
It's been great, thanks, man.
Patagonia was a great ride, but it's time to roll into Tucson, eager to taste the culinary story this city has been telling. This is where the deeper layers of Arizona's food culture begin to unfold. First stop, Forbes Meat Company, where owner Ben Forbes has somehow crammed a food lover's dream into one small but mighty shop.
I heard it was a butcher shop, but in my mind I'm thinking you come in, there's a counter, there's meat, there's a deli slicer, that's what you're getting. No, you walk in, awesome bar, awesome restaurant, butcher shop, all together in one tiny little spot, and they make incredible food.
But before we sit down to eat, I'm getting a primer in the art of butchery.
So I'm gonna just look to separate this right at the hip bone, and there's a little, literally what's called a pin bone, and once I find the end of that pin bone, I can bring it over to the saw and I'll break it down. So this is the porterhouse as one whole unit, but if you separate it, you have a New York strip, and if you separate that, you have your tenderloin. When you're cutting meat in general, there's all these seams, and so I'm just gonna follow the natural seam here. And
you guys see this?
Pull this completely off. It's really quite easy.
Just going in layers.
All the little
layer
layers, yeah. And so once you know it,
wow,
it literally seams off really easily.
The philosophy of Forbes Meat Company is a simple, powerful one. Bypass the middleman, take the beef directly from the farms, and sell their meat exactly how the customer wants it. And what the people want, apparently, is a spectacular lunch. Like their legendary steak frites, the crispy fries cooked to perfection in beef tallow, all while the butcher's work is happening just feet away.
Steak frites, if it's on a menu, that's the only thing I will order.
Right.
That is beautiful, look at that, sticks to it, it's nice.
Pretty good, huh?
That's pretty good. The meat is so tender, but it's still flavorful.
Grab another piece and don't use your knife. It should go just fine. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Look at this.
That's pretty good. Knife optional.
Knife optional steak.
Next up, we're headed to Presta Coffee to meet up with my good friend, Curtis Zimmerman, a former pro bike racer who now pours his energy into honing the art of roasting the perfect bean.
He's got this beautiful little setup behind the coffee shop, very advanced equipment that sorts the beans for him, keeps the temperature really controlled. He's got these beautiful beans that he brings in from all over the world, including these co-fermented beans.
Co-fermentation itself is we're fermenting the coffee in a barrel.
Oh, wow.
With fresh fruit or dried fruit.
Like actual fruit.
Yeah, it's more of a natural way of doing it. Your grocery store shelf coffee that has all the crazy flavors.
Sure.
You see strawberry shortcake flavors, all this stuff. They're spraying those flavors on the coffee. Yeah, with these, we're actually using a barrel and we're doing a yeast inoculation with it.
And it's happening at the farms where they're pulling the beans and the cherries.
Yeah. These guys do it with dried strawberries.
Oh, wow.
And what it does is it infuses a lot of the fruit flavors into the coffee.
Cheers. Cheers, buddy. Wow. You get so much of that fruit nose in there. It's incredible.
It's a little funky.
You don't call this strawberry flavored. It's a co-fermented. It's not like a flavored coffee. It's just coffee and strawberry together in a cup. Man, that is really good.
With that final sip, it's time to stretch the legs. We're heading up to Sentinel Peak, and as it turns out, this hike leads straight into the story of a major culinary distinction.
So Tucson is the first city in America to receive the City of Gastronomy designation by UNESCO. They're really celebrating all the many cultures that have contributed to the food here, plus of course the talent.
For me, it's our culture blended into our food, is that we have a rich culture of growing our own food, A lot of the restaurants, they'll source locally. A lot of the history and culture, what was here before us, is mixed into our meals.
Good Lord, look at this.
This is Tucson right here.
So when you're in town, you're looking west, you see a giant A, that is A Mountain. The views from A Mountain are absolutely incredible. Everything happening all around Southwest Arizona, right in the heart of Tucson.
A massive view, 360 view around town. But it's also at the base of Mission Gardens.
One of the really most interesting things I got to do on this trip was getting a personal tour with Jesus at the Mission Gardens. Located in the heart of downtown Tucson, Mission Garden is an effort to revive over 4,000 years of agriculture in this part of the world.
Many of these plants are beautiful and green, and you would think, well, this is not part of the desert.
Yeah.
Well, these are the results of human migrations over the centuries.
Okay.
So many of these plants came from the Mediterranean, came from Southwest Asia, they came from, some even from the Far East, but they came here to stay. Now, the section of the garden that we're moving into pretty much represents more of the native crops. A lot of these crops are, some of them cultivated, but some of them are wild, like mesquite trees.
Okay, so we've all grown up with, hearing about mesquite wood to smoke and to cook with.
Exactly.
But I had no idea there was a mesquite pod or
my gosh.
a legume.
But that's the most important part. What you do is, 2 months prior, June, July, the beans are hanging from the mesquite, and you harvest them off the tree. Different varieties are very, very sweet, and there's tons of sugar in them, and you can turn them into flour.
So when they're hanging, you can eat them right from the tree.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's fantastic. Wait, did you say flour?
Yeah, you make flour out of it.
Where they grind this whole thing up?
I can show this one is very fresh. You can tell this one is. So this one, you can see, you can actually chew on them, and
that tastes like flour, right? Oh, it's a sweet.
you can make crackers, bread,
That's incredible.
tortillas, you name it. This is one of the iconic spices of the Sonoran Desert. We have a beautiful chiltepin bush. This is a wild plant that basically is considered to be one of the ancestors of many, many chiles.
It is such a vibrant flavor. It's incredible.
In most cases, you go to a store or a restaurant, you're not gonna find it in this form. You're gonna find it dried and dehydrated like this. And then what you do, you grind it and you put it in soups, you put it in pizzas, dry like this, because this is how the product is sold.
That is incredible.
So let's go back to the Spanish colonial garden.
All right.
And we're gonna eat another fruit that happens to be in season right now.
Okay.
In Spanish, we call it membrillo. It's also known as quince in English.
Okay, so I've had membrillo jam. So that's what quince is.
Exactly.
This almost like a guava texture. Look at that. Looks like an apple. It is like a texture of a pear, flavor an apple.
Yeah. Certain level of acidity and sweetness at the same time that is incomparable to any other fruit. And this one happens to be just perfectly ripe.
With our basket of quince, a jar of chiltepin peppers, and fresh insight into the usefulness of the mesquite tree, we're heading over to Anello to meet up with Scott Giroux. This restaurant is built on experimentation, anchored by their signature sourdough crust and locally sourced ingredients. If this place has a secret weapon, it's that their desserts are as good as the pizzas they're known for. And that's where our freshly harvested quince comes into the picture.
Okay, so this is gonna become that. I see what's happening.
Exactly. We'll get from this hard rock of a fruit to this soft, candied, beautiful pink and aromatic.
Nice. All right, so we're roasting quince. This looks like a sweet dessert thing that's happening here. What do you do with it? Because I see you got cakes over there, you got pizza happening.
So we usually like to get in these things from Mission Gardens to preserve and use how we like, but first let's get into a place that's cooked and then something delicious in our pantry that we can pull out when we need to.
These candied quince need just a few simple ingredients: sugar, lemon, water, and bay leaves.
I like bay leaf. To me, it's more like a vanilla replacement, a more common local one. I like to cook it 20 minutes, get through it, and then they'll be soft, cool. And
then get the pits out?
And get all the pits out and then cut them down again.
Got it, okay.
And that'll be much easier. Let me get a lid and we'll toss it in the oven.
The oven roars at 800 degrees, a fiery forge where a rock like quince is slowly melting into something gooey and delicious. But the real heat is next to Scott, who's not waiting for dessert. With flour dusting his hands, he walks me through the precision and passion that goes into every one of Anello's signature pies.
Hey, when you see movies or dudes in New York that are chunking it up, and is that more theatrics or does it actually do anything?
I mean, we could do it. I mean, it happens. But part of it is also like the risk of doing that is more if your fingers randomly up,
poking holes through it.
Going through a hole.
But it's actually helping with gravity pulling it apart.
Yes, and the force of that is actually helping stretch it out too.
So versus having a rolling pin and trying to roll it out.
Well, if you do that, then you're compressing all that gluten into a cracker.
Got it. Okay.
I don't want a cracker. Some people do, and that's fine. When you're building a pizza, it's about balance.
Okay.
So you're always filling gaps. Because the more you build up, we have a crazy fire, it's gonna burn those things faster. So, peaks and valleys, you want balance.
There goes our chilled bean, you're just crushing them.
I just crush it. Ooh, this is gonna be a spicy one. And now we're gonna go through and have a bunch of shaved garlic.
Oh, nice.
If we don't put the garlic thin, it won't cook and it'll just be raw, and that's gross.
Got it, yeah.
And now we're gonna put our oil on last.
Nice.
Hit everything, because we want that oil basically to cook everything on here.
Yeah.
Pizza's on the way, but I'm making a beeline for dessert.
So this is the quince cake. We roasted some quince beforehand in the oven.
Yep.
And we put it into the nice, rich cake here.
Nice.
And this is a little extra candied quince on top, a mesquite creme fraiche whipped cream, and some of the extra syrup.
Gotta try it.
Let's get it.
I'm gonna dig in.
Oh, pretty good.
That is delicious. It's nice and got a little bit of sourness coming through. What is that sourness coming from? Is that the quince?
That's the creme fraiche and the mesquite whip. So you get that last little spice at the end. That's going to be that mesquite flour, that little tiny,
That's so
that
good.
light cinnamon. So yeah, this is a seasonal thing. Like you're just at Mission Gardens, this won't be around all year. So it'll be here probably for a week or less.
When quince isn't happening, what else is going on? Look at this. Chilled bean. Maybe I went a little heavy-handed.
That's okay, it's gonna be great. We do seasonal desserts because that's what's growing around here at the time, but we're always making sourdough wood-fired pizza.
The chilled bean being on top, it definitely hits.
Well, that's what you want. You want that first hit on your tongue.
And the burnt pizza crust on the bottom just a little bit. It doesn't taste burnt, but it has a nice little toastiness to it.
Oh, yeah.
That's delicious.
Thank you.
Thanks. This has been very cool. Thank you.
One of the most celebrated restaurants in Arizona is located in the most unassuming spot, a strip mall right next to a yoga studio and a tattoo shop. Amelia's Mexican Kitchen is owned by acclaimed chef Jose Contreras, whose craft earned him a 2025 James Beard nomination for Best Chef in the Southwest.
The restaurant he's had there for about 5 years now, named for his grandmother who taught him how to cook at home. Okay, so Grandma Amelia, you've got her food here. Where in Mexico is Grandma Amelia from? Is that where you're from?
Grandma Amelia is from Santa Rosa de Yecora. It's a little town on the hills, but I'm born and raised with her in Hermosillo, Sonora. Smelling this food,
Yeah.
you know how Nana is, Nana house.
Yeah,
It's
every
my
grandma's
experience.
house.
I want to share to the clients.
If you were blessed enough to grow up with a grandma who cooks and who feeds, then you end up cooking, which is a perfect example here. So you've got a 10-year batch of Oaxacan mole going. And I've had moles in the past that are made with ground peanuts or peanut butter or chocolate added to it, which seems like, the very common one that you get in the middle of the country. That's not what you're making.
Yeah, I'm making something different. I really want to, everybody can eat it. Vegan, vegetarian, so with the same flavor. It's more like fruits and dried chilies. This is a mole madre starter.
Ah, this is the starter that you've had for 10 years.
Yes.
So you got a lot of fruits, a lot of dried chilies, a lot of ingredients, 2 different types of plantains. And I've never seen a mole with these ingredients.
Exactly, and every day, the flavor is never the same. It's getting better and better, richer, darker.
Yeah.
So it's a good mole.
Look at that. The plantains look so golden beautiful. It smells like, I know, it's not expected, but it smells like apple pie, man. That's delicious. Okay, stone time.
Inside this machine, 2 volcanic rocks do all the work. The same stones used to make masa for tortillas, now grinding the base for this mole.
Obviously, this is a small batch. Do not put your fingers in there. You get finger mole. It's the first paste right out of the grinder. It's nice, huh?
While we were discovering the secrets to Grandma Amelia's vegan mole, the real artists were creating this masterpiece in the kitchen.
Look at this. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? All right, which one? What are we looking at here?
This is Amelia's molcajete, one of the best sellers here in the restaurant.
Unbelievable.
This show-stopping dish arrives in a blazing hot volcanic rock bowl loaded with grilled meats, seafood, cactus, cheese, and Doritos, all finished with a generous pour of roasted salsa.
What are the Doritos?
The Doritos is a chili wrapped with shrimp inside and cheese.
Mmm.
What do you think?
I'm good to it. How have I never had that before? That's incredible. It's like chewy and crunchy and warm and delicious. So many layers of flavor, just that one thing.
We have the mole that we're talking about. Mole Madre.
Look at that. How beautiful that is.
Whoa. You get the fruit. It's like a lovely, light, balanced fruit flavor that isn't over peppery, it isn't super acidic, it's not burnt. So I'm noticing that with all of your food, that everything's like nicely balanced, which is not a usual thing, especially with restaurant food. You don't get that. Restaurant food is usually, high salt, high peaks of heat and burn and char. This is nice and balanced.
The experience from my grandma Amelia's, I just want to share in every plate.
So good.
Like you feel like in the house, in your nana's house.
This seems like something you sit down with your whole family.
Yes.
Everybody's taking turns, you're getting a bit of this, a bit of that. Just such a beautiful way to eat together.
Yeah, and you get this experience here on Amelia's kitchen.
My time in southern Arizona felt like a revelation. From the wild sweep of desert sky to the generosity of the people, everything carried its own quiet power. The food echoed that spirit. There's a richness here, shaped by history, place, and the folks who pour themselves into every meal. Southern Arizona has a way of grounding you, reminding you where flavor, culture, and community truly begin.